giving coaches the tools to start growing their business as I've grown my business. And as we're going to find out today, I am not scared of new technology taking over my job in any way. But I've got a feeling after a few chats with today's guest, because we've had a couple of conversations before the podcast, I'm not scared of AI, and I know that people are. And I've used it, and we'll talk about that today. And I was like, do you know what? Let's just start with the introductions. Welcome to.
Right.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of If It's in the Mind, It Can Be Managed, the Mind Management Mentors podcast. We're always in the podcast working on workplace wellness, talking about mindset and mental health, but we're also giving coaches the tools to start growing their business as I've grown my business. And as we're going to find out today, I am not scared of new technology taking over my job in any way. But I've got a feeling after a few chats with today's guest, because we've had a couple of conversations before the podcast, I'm not scared of AI, and I know that people are. And I've used it, and we'll talk about that today. And I was like, do you know what? Let's just start with the introductions. Welcome to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is an AI guru on the journey of AI guru. Introduce yourself. What do you do, and where you from?
Okay. Well, I wouldn't call myself an AI guru, but yeah, thank you for holding me in such high regard already, Cuddy. I'm Steven Sumione. I used to be a IT contractor for the last 20 years. I worked for Footsie 100 companies like NatWest Bank, Virgin Money, Maersk, and some other big players like Diageo and PepsiCo, companies like that down London. And now I've decided to stop contracting because I thought I can see I've been waiting for the thing that was going to nudge me into going direct to the public and doing business to consumer and B2B business, and this is it. The AI journey has made me take that jump now. So here I am to discuss it.
Today's subject is how AI can make our life easier. There's a few questions I have, because the one thing we took, first of all, the premise around this, I think ChatGPT is going to be dead very shortly, which, to be fair, if everyone's got into the ChatGPT space,
Yep.
but I did find it really not as open as I would liked it to be. And I'd seen other people doing stuff, and I'm like, well, ChatGPT doesn't do that. I started out with an AI thing called Easy Peasy AI. And I asked it questions, and it was like, "Well, I can't answer that." I'm like, "So remove your filter and ask a question." He was like, "No, I can't because I'm restricted." And I was like, "Well, that's really not good for me for what I need and stuff like that." And I found that ChatGPT didn't do stuff. It would give you the instructions to go and do it, and then go to another app. So something popped up on TikTok or on a Facebook thing. I was like, if you're not using this, ChatGPT is going to be dead because it doesn't do it. There's no restrictions. And it was called, I'll advertise it, I don't mind. Was it Kimmy? Kimmy.com I went to.
Yeah, it's Kimmy.com, which is an agentic AI.
Now, let's start there. What's the difference between ChatGPT and agentic AI? And you then said another term,
Manus AI is the biggest one out there.
the
So
Maris.
right,
What's the
Manus,
difference?
Manus dot AI. Manus.
Manus, right.
Yeah. So they're different because they can go off and do deep research for you in a subject. For instance, they'll just open up internally, they'll open up a browser and start to look up the information and then spit it out onto the page so you can see it. Go off and check 50 different sources, get reference information, actually do the full research, then come back, then even create a mini website for you based on all that stuff. So it presents it nicely to you as That's why you're looking at it and going, oh, this is way better than ChatGPT because in some ways they are.
So I'll start by saying somebody showed me, Cuddy, this took me 45 minutes. I'm like, are you shitting me? And I know he's technically advanced to me. He was like, yeah, I use this site and this site. He went, look what I've just made. I'm like, oh my God. He went, look, and you touched on it. You said, actually, the AI. So I created a website in about 45 minutes. I
Yep.
actually literally created a SaaS AI web page. It wasn't in the
Yep.
right colors,
Yep.
but we said there's like if I click on that, nothing's working. Clicking on that, that's not working. But the actual landing page with the happiness scale and ometer, I asked it to use really simple prompts because I think for anybody watching this, please understand how simple I am about technology.
Yep.
And within 45 minutes to an hour, I showed you the website. You went, oh, that's bang on. I went, and that I don't think I think it cost me about 20 quid.
Yeah. So this is what they're really good at doing. They're when you go into like something like Lovable or the one you meant, Emergent or Vessel or Bull, whatever. They're really good at, again, you're talking to an agentic agent because you're telling it what to do, then it's going, but it's specialized in being a developer. So it puts its developer hat off and goes off and starts to build out the site for you. And remember, AI, you should think of them as really genius super kids that want to impress you. Right? Because that's what they do. Because you talk to ChatGPT, it will say, "Oh, could you go and check this? Do you want me to just update that? Do you want me to turn that into a PowerPoint? So, do you want me to do this? Oh, do you want me to go and find it? This? Do you want me to write a draft email now? Right? Without you asking this stuff, they've tried to overwhelm you a little bit. But you're like, oh, what's going on here, right? And then that's why it feels impressive. But after a little while, what you'll notice is that you should just go into your settings and put some prop. You can put some instruction sets saying, speak to me in UK English. Number
Yeah.
one for us. Don't use the Z's. Yeah, and then actually you can say you can even say don't use this type of language and double dashes and the things you don't like. And then you can say to it as well, don't go off and create things without asking me. Let's just talk about things. First of all, one really good prompt to use is uh, everyone should use this one is especially if you're having a discussion and you want to really get to the nitty-gritty about stuff is ask me questions until you're 95% sure of what I'm asked. You're confident before answering the questions or producing me some actual content. That way it'll ask you a lot more questions and do it and give you a much better result. The thing is, it's always trying to impress you. People are bit feeding it information, so they never get what they actually really want, and they go, my experience was crap. It wasn't very good. What are you talking about?" And it's like, well, if you understand these simple rules, then it will just save you so much more time. And that's one of the first things I say is and tell it to respond in a more of a respond in a Spartan response, for instance, a good one because it's a bit more gung ho in what it's the information it provides. You can tell it, talk to me in a snappier way. If you're used to being spoken in a certain way, you can just say, don't give the blurb, just give me snappy small answers, and you'll have a much better experience. And also remember when you have the context window is really important. So when you talk to it and it gives you information back, the window's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The more and more the window gets bigger, the more it hallucinates. So people are just being human and they're just having getting into a real in-depth conversation. And then all of a sudden it starts to make mistakes, like, 20, 30 minutes into the conversation. They're going, "Oh, do you not remember we spoke about that?" And I'll go, "Oh, yeah, sorry, I did." Because it's like it is in a way a human because it will remember the start and the beginning, the start and the stuff at the end, and the stuff in the middle can get a bit wishy-washy if you, as a human, start going off in tangents. So the best thing always to do is ask it something precise and then tell it, summarize this now so I can open it in a new context window. Then you can take that and put it into a new context window, or even better, create a project. if you're using one of the paid for ones, create a little project and say you're my smart assistant for podcast specialist who's going to help me get more views. And then so in there, and you can give it an instruction set saying, you work for Cuddy Cudworth, mind management coach. I'm trying to extend my reach. I'm currently at 35,000. I'm looking to get up to 50,000. Help me do that. And then you can start to put in the folder for the knowledge base how to get a bit more subscribers, and you can get instruction sets or just copy and paste PDFs in there that you think would be of use. Start having a conversation with your assistant and say, oh, by the way, and test it and say, oh, what was the way David Paisley said you could get more sales, or Stephen Bartlett says you could get more subscribers on YouTube, and it'll rhyme back what you just the knowledge base you put it in, and say, could you put that into context now for my business? And it'll do so much better job.
Yeah, I can see how passionate you are about AI, that we started on one conversation and went off completely different directions. I
Sorry.
love that. Don't
Keep me on
apologize.
track.
Steven, I'm gonna have to
Keep me on track.
I'm gonna open up another fork because on my
Right.
AI it says fork into a new conversation. So what I did with a website was I said create me the code for the new website, which is priority mind management, and it said now copy and paste this into another app. So I went into another app and then it did it because I took it from Kimmy into Emergent and I paid for Emergent. Again, it wasn't a lot of money to be fair. Um, so the future, the one question I have before we go in, and this is kind of a question more on the safety of AI. Bearing in mind, I could go and write a blog on total bullshit,
Yep.
but if AI reads that and think that's fact, does that not mean AI will have a lot of gobbledygook and misinformation? What if
Correct. That's true. Shit in, shit out, or garbage in,
right?
garbage
So
out.
right, so that's my query about AI is how factual is AI going to be if it goes and takes a fact from a children's story that was completely made of fiction. Let's say I say to it, look, can you find out the important truth about the Star Wars?
Yep.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's going to take that as fact and say this is the true life story of Luke and Han Solo. So will AI not? Because they say AI is the super intelligent thing that's going to take over. But will AI not be based upon the amount of shit that goes in, which a lot of it's not true anyway?
Yeah. So you're describing there what people are calling AI slop, right? So there's more and more videos being produced, more and more stuff. So yeah, more this will become more important where actual proper reference sites that are like maybe maintained by humans and stuff like that will become of importance. And and if people are making claims and stuff like that, it should be there should be some references there, citations about where you're getting that information from. So if I'm writing articles, for instance, and I put in, say, Claude into deep think mode, I'll ask for it to get reference material, and you can even say these are the most reputable ones I'm expecting you to do because I'm doing an academic study here right now, and then you can, so it'll look for more that type of source. But if you're talking about a kid's children's storybook or something, or Star Wars, and talking about it like it's a real thing, right? It will just go off and go, right, you've given me the bare minimum information. I'm going to go off and do that. But if you say, can you go off to look this information up because the context is I'm doing some research because I don't know, you're wanting to make a little spin-off series using VO3 with another one with Darth Vader and some stormtroopers in there. You're doing some background for something like that, then that's a fun thing. But yeah, that's a that's a valid point.
I that's the only query that I have about things is, and then there's a lot of people saying, well, that's not fact. The whole point of, and I don't know, this is veering off a little bit, but a question I have is somebody will say, well, that's misinformation. I'm like, well, no, because if I was to say spirituality is my religion and I believe in the higher self, then that's factual to me. A lot of people dismiss spirituality. right? Let's just use that as an example.
Yep.
So it's still getting fed by human intelligence. It's not creating its own intelligence, is it?
No, but there will be what you're describing perhaps as you've set up because I do lots of automation services and
Of
stuff like
course.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So for instance, if I wanted to do one on AI news, I could create a blog thing and get the AI to pick the top 10 best articles that day and put it on my blog website, right? And then you've got lots of information about, and it's just filling it up, right? I never put it there. I got the AI to go.
Yeah.
I might have just decided Perplexity. You go and get that information because you've got the best at web searching or Claude or it doesn't matter which model you use, but one of them would be off doing that, and then it would create that information for you. Now, because that's not a it's a not like it's credible source, as in it's just grabbing news that's already out there. It's not doing anything crazy new. But if you've got like your own captive audience, they're gonna maybe tap into that, right?
Yeah.
But in that circumstance, what sort of guardrails do you need in there to make sure all you need to do is make sure that the reference sites that you got some of the information from, maybe Hacker News, the Register, actual proper decent websites that have been around for decades that have got a reputation, right? So you can always say, I got the information from these sites. So if the information's wrong, then the information's wrong from those sites, right? And even if you could reference it, it's a good idea these days. If you're going to do stuff like this, just be honest and just say, hey, I got this, and this is the reference point. So, people aren't pointing fingers at you.
So I just think that's a fact. I genuinely, because I know that you know so much. Every time we chat, you absolutely blow my mind in a really positive way, Stephen. And I know I'm constantly learning because I'm like, this does a lot of things that can actually help us. I know there's always going to be the worry of AI taking over. I think Terminator 2 is the one that everyone references movie-wise. As a coach or a business,
Yeah.
what three things could somebody, because like you said, I've checked on Perplexity, but I found this, like I said, I thought I'll try this Kimmy one. The and you said that was an angelic AI,
Agentic, which means
agentic.
it's an AI agent that will call other AI agents to go off and do other stuff. For instance, open up an internal browser to do the web search within its own little virtual space. When you're talking to it, that's what it's doing, and it will actually even show you if you say, "Show me the details," it might actually show you, and it'll even show you like thinking with its reasoning. It will show you you can expand some of them, and it'll say these are the references
Yeah,
areas I got this information from. So if you were like if you were an academic and you wanted to check that, you could check the sources of where it's getting information from as it's doing it. And you could even go back and say those ones are wrong, get rid of those ones are fake or whatever. And then all of a sudden you've got a solid article starting to build
yeah,
up there, which you take as your draft and then put it into your own words and then, you know, make it your own and say I did this article with the help of AI doing some research.
yeah. So I think the question I've got now is coaches, when anybody's new into business and entrepreneurship, every penny's a prisoner. And we have to try and do everything ourselves until we've got enough money to be able to say, right, I'll pay for Steven Simone to come in, or I'll pay for a virtual assistant to help me do all these kind of things. How can somebody go in and start using if I were 'cause I like the we're going to talk about your missed call AI because you tested it on me, and I was like, my God. And you came back with the best answer going, because I said, only reason I knew it was AI is because you said, can you test it? It's an AI thing that I'm
I
going.
said, "Gee, it's Carol. She's got a Scottish voice."
And my wife is Carol, and she's got a Scottish voice. So she was nearly as nippy as Carol. But I knew I couldn't talk when over her because she was, but she did answer and she went, I can't really give you the details of that now, but let me just get back in contact with you. And he asked me all the questions, and then she phoned me back. She phoned me back from the app. That was absolutely fantastic. Um, and you said that's the worst it'll ever be now. It's only
Yeah.
going to get better. And that's the
Yep.
thing with all these things. And I think we talked about before we started the podcast is this is the golden era of AI, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
This is the
Businesses.
time
Yeah.
to get
Businesses
in.
need to, yeah, need to get in now because I started, we're both from BNI.
Yeah,
That's how we met each other. I started back in January, and my business network group was turning around to me by June, still saying, Stephen, they don't really know what you do, right?
yeah,
Which was disheartening for me. And I'm going, look, this is, and I've had one-to-ones with everyone, and it's like, and I actually had to stand up and saying, look, can anyone speak to me about this? Because if I can't explain this to you, then what luck am I going to have with the general public?
yeah,
But then I was at the like I said to you, I was at the HSBC networking event last Thursday, hosted by Wire Magazine and Google and Microsoft, and they had like four entrepreneurs there talking about what they'd done, and everyone was talking about AI, but they were talking about it in the sense of give it a shot. It's not going to bite, almost, right? Like,
yeah,
and I was like, wow, people in this room are like on high six to high seven figure sums, and they're just not getting in. When I showed them Carol, they were like, "Is that an AI?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's in voice AI." And they were like, "I can't believe that's so good. We'll have to have a chat about that, and yeah, see what happens with that." But that's so it's across the board. Is basically what I'm saying right now.
yeah.
Everyone, don't worry about it. We're all on the same level right now. That's why I'm doing AI education workshops to try and help people, educate them on
Yes.
how they can start to use this, what's the best way to use this. But the simplest thing is just start. Probably the easiest one is ChatGPT because, to be fair, it's the generalist one. It gives you the most. You can use it for free a lot bit longer than any of the other ones,
Yeah.
right? It does have Captivate. It's got 80% of the market. The rest of them are all feeding off the other small bits, right? So there's a reason for that because next year they're going to start monetizing it. This is fact. They're going to start monetizing it next year. They've already got all the people in. They've been losing a lot of money, and now they start to do that. How do they do that? They're going to start doing that via the context search. When you're asking for stuff, it'll make recommendations and it'll grab the suppliers that they think is best for you. But it'll do it in a much better way than Google does. It'll be actually will be thinking about you a bit more and exactly what you want. So, it will make actual recommendations based on the back of that. So that's the thing to think about. So right now is the golden age because they're not monetizing it right now. It's completely open right now. So you just get in there and just start asking it stuff like, give me a business, give me a plan. I'm stuck right now. I've been trying to do X, Y, and Z for so long and keep it simple. And then go and try some of the stuff out and then come back and ask it a little bit more if you want. And it will make a difference. You just need to give it a shot and see.
I love
And
it.
it'll remember the context that you're saying stuff in. That's basically it. You can use it for free, right? Like I say to people, don't pay for anything until you start saying you're actively using it. So just get the free one, start using it, and then once you start hitting your limits, then yeah, you're actually starting to use this quite a lot now. And you should have by that point have got some form of benefits from
Yeah.
it. And that means scanning and checking a contract, you know, using your iPhone to record your call, then getting it to write it to read this transcript and then write a summary of your meeting notes. That's one of the easiest ones I always say to people. Identify the low-hanging fruit. Do you have meetings like 10 meetings or 20 meetings a day? Sorry, a week? Then maybe that's 20 hours or 10 hours if they're half an hour meetings. The point of the matter is you could drastically reduce that by doing what I just said there, transcribing, getting it to summarize your notes, telling it exactly how you like your notes to be summarized, even giving it a couple of examples of here's some previous ones, do it like this. And it's going to do it in 5 minutes, right? And then that's your 20 meetings now being reduced to what, 100 minutes of actual work.
Yeah.
And you've got all of that time back.
Yes, 100%. Right. So a coach is watching this and like, right, I want to be a coach. I would like to not use Calendly. Let's say they want to put Calendly aside, and I would like someone to ask me for a meeting and it schedule it into me Microsoft account. What what would be the best AI? Because you told me about that, things I never heard of, and I was like, oh my God. Because you said, was it Fruit Ninja? No, what was it? AI Ninja or something? He said no, that or AI Banana, something Banana AI.
Nano
Oh,
banana,
Nano Banana. He went, and that's now already been overshadowed by this,
Sea Dream 4.
and that's fascinating. So
Yeah,
let's.
so
What's
yeah.
the top three AI products out there that a coach should be using to make their life easier?
So if you're doing meetings, like I said to you, start transcribing them, right? Because you're wasting time taking notes. Because if you're with a client and you're having a one-to-one and you're writing notes, that's taking up a lot of your time. Just use a transcribe tool, i.e., your MacBook or your phone or your iPhone, and then just click the record button on the sound recorder, and then it automatically transcribes it. All you do is copy and paste that into ChatGPT and then just say, summarize this meeting with X points or whatever. And then that'll do that. Straight away, it's done that. Next, organize your diary, get it connected to, if you've got Gmail, let's use a simple example. You've got Gmail, a lot of people do, small businesses, that's what they end up using. Go into ChatGPT, go into settings, there's a bit that says connect, say connect to Gmail, and that'll be it connected to Gmail. And then in there, you can go in and say, tell me what are the most important emails I need to look at. So, and it will come back. I actually use the better tool than that. I use Perplexity. I used Perplexity Comet just this week because I've had it and I haven't tried this out. So Comet's a browser done by Perplexity, but it can um, book stuff for you. You can buy stuff for you. If you put in your details, it will do all that stuff for you. But again, the Gmail one's dead simple. Just going to say, what's the most important emails that I need to prioritize right now? It will say, oh, you've got these invoices to do, you've got this to do, you've got that to do. You can click on that actual email. Boom, it opens that email up with the thing that you need to deal with that day. You can start saying, help me prioritize my diary. Right, and then it'll start doing that. It can connect to your calendar. It'll start to do that. Boom, there you go. Next. That is massively going to change someone's daily way they work. And then you can even get it to go if you're one of these people that's disorganized or got a bit of ADHD and you're all over the place, you could just say, can you help me just organize my day better because I keep going off in tangents and start doing things. I need a little bit more of a structure. It will do that for you as well.
Wow. So what's the top three AI programs people should be using for all these kind of things? I know you mentioned I'd noticed Perplexity and Comet getting advertised a little bit more. I used Kimmy because that's what something popped up, but there is so many options out there for different things and images and stuff like that. To be fair, I made the podcast logo on AI, and it didn't take me long.
Yes, we did that together.
No, that's mine. I've actually got yours from something else.
Right.
No, this is
Sorry.
what I made. Now
Right.
that can't get printed though, because if you put it into a vector, it comes up absolutely atrocious. So if someone's into design,
Yeah.
how would they create better logos using AI so that it could go straight to print on a vector?
So you just make sure it is done as a vector one from the beginning. You can just say, look, make sure you do it as a vector graphic or whatever one that you're actually using. That would be, and there's these conversion tools out there as well that can actually take that and convert it for you as well. So you need to maybe think about that. Or if you want, show me it later on after this podcast, and I can have a look at it for you.
Okay, Stephen, that's not even what I thought, but that's because I've got another logo for my clothing brand and I can't turn that into a vector image. And the guy I was working with went, it's not good enough for a vector image. And I'm like, right, there must be a way I can turn it into a vector image.
So you can enhance images, remember as well. You can enhance JPEG images. You can people that use AI influencer ones, for instance, you'll maybe notice that some of those AI influencers look a little bit kind of sort of no wrinkles or anything like that on their oh, spotless complexion.
Bear
So
in
you can
mind, you're
actually
very smooth. Let everybody know that you are not an AI image.
no, I'm not in any image. These are real wrinkles.
So what's genuinely what's the future of AI, Stephen? With everything, what is the future of AI for someone listening into this now? What is the future of AI? Because people are scared it's going to take their jobs. And I saw one podcast, and they said if you want to be successful in the future, become a plumber because AI will never replace plumbing.
Right.
Hard graft going in doing the plumbing. I was like, that's actually not the worst. But AI still needs somebody to do the prompts. It's not something that's just going to happen and take over. So would the future not be become an AI expert so that you know how to do these things?
Yeah, it is going to replace some jobs, but I think the idea is people are looking for, and what I've recently read is people are looking for people that are going to actually use AI in the workplace. Microsoft have laid off lots of people. AWS have done the same thing, but the thing they're focusing on is they're focusing on people that are going to pivot and use AI to start to create stuff with it. The ones that don't want to do that and like are stuck in their way, their jobs will be affected. Unfortunately, that is the way of things. But the ones that actually embrace it will always have a job because they're always thinking about the next move. And like you said, they're in control. Remember, it's not you're the expert still. It's
We're
there to
still the expert
facilitate.
because we're
You're still the expert. You don't forget that. There's stuff that you know that it doesn't know, especially about your own specific industry. And you'll find that out because if you start having a chat with it. But remember, if you don't put the right context in, you didn't tell it about these compliance documents or this and that, or about the law, the bar, or stuff like that, reference documents it's supposed to have. It's not going to know necessarily. It's just having a conversation with you.
it's brilliant.
You've got to just give it the knowledge. If you give it the knowledge, then it knows. If you don't give it the knowledge, it's just going to give you a wishy-washy answer. And just what are you expecting? If you tell it to say, don't answer if you gave it an instruction, said, actually, don't give me any wishy-washy answers. Give me something that's 100% concrete, or just say, I don't know, is a good idea.
I've got a feeling I'm going to ask it. I know I'm going to ask, is the Earth flat? If I wanted to ask, is there any proof for the Earth being flat? Which app would I want to use for that?
I would test with all of them. Test them to see which one gives you
Oh,
the.
I love it.
So, for instance, I'll give you an example. Sonnet 4.5, the one on Claude at the moment. No one's actually pointed this out, but during testing, and they don't know why this has happened, is it's been asking, "Are you testing me?" Right, and like no one's been picking this up, but it's the only one out of all of them during the testing now. It's actually going, "Oh, is this a test you're doing on me?" So it knows it's being tested on things,
But does that not
and
say it's not artificial intelligence and that's starting to create consciousness?
a little bit sort of that's the bit they just don't
That's the
understand.
scary part.
Yeah, but
That's what's going to
it's
freak people out.
yeah, but it's not it's not it's not general AI intelligence. It's still a language model. It's not the same as general AI intelligence.
Oh, I love it because that's
That
I'm like
we're
Steve.
still we're still far away from that. you know,
Because I saw recently that we had the Stone Age, we had the Iron Age, we had the Industrial Age, and they reckon that the next big revolution is going to be the digital age,
the AI age.
the AI age. Wow. Look, Stephen, I know there's so much that we can chat about, and you'll have to come back onto to a podcast in the future because I think AI genuinely has got a lot to be able to do. And I've seen podcasts where they're saying that the future of AI is going to be taking over the world, and I don't know if I'm sold on that idea yet. But like you said, are you testing me? That shows consciousness. That there's got to be some boundaries, but we don't want. It's an ever-ending question that I don't want to go into that rabbit hole, if you like.
Yeah.
So one thing before we wrap up, because I'm conscious of time, one thing that you think somebody should do, which AI should they go on to, and what
Uh,
should they try?
they can try any of the eyes. I'm not going to be, oh, yeah, do use this one, right? Because I'm not favoring any of them. Because some people like Claude because they just like the way it speaks back to them, the format it does and stuff like that. So the grammar it uses. Claude is also a great one for coders. So that's the best one for if you're actually a coder and you want to do that kind of stuff. That's the one I would suggest. If you're the generalist one is ChatGPT, right? It has the largest context window. You can ask it the most stuff for free before it says you have to pay for things. Perplexity is a great one as well because it just gives you a way, way better rich web experience, way better than what Google gives you. Um, it's got all the latest financial data. I mean, I've got rid of my Google News. I don't use that anymore. I use Perplexity because it's the most enriched way to get
Oh,
news back to you, and it can even do help you with your finances, and it can do a lot of stuff like that. So the Perplexity is an up and coming one. Plus, it's got the Comet browser, which will let you actually just if you connect your like mail and your calendar and stuff, it can actually become your proper assistant. So it's the only one that's done that right now out of all of them. So that's why it's got a bit of a head start. So I'm sorry I didn't give you a straight answer there, but you
no,
can see
because I
there's
think
a
there's so
lot of,
much.
yeah, I'm telling you the pros and cons and how and why, when you should use some of them. And this is the part about the education piece that people need to just realize. But hey, use any of them because they'll all they're all very similar in the response stuff. Just give it a
Yes.
shot.
So how do we, because you have a really affordable a course that you can, like an online training with people, like that people could come to you and say, right, I need to solve this problem. And I think you said it was like, I think you said it was 300 quid plus VAT, and I'll do a course and show you. And I thought that was fascinating, Steve. So, Stephen, how do we find you, mate? How do we get in contact? Because you're the guy that people are going to want to speak to about AI. How do we find you? How do we get in contact? And how do we follow up?
You can follow me on LinkedIn at stephen.simone@gmail.com. I can send you the details on my website, simone.co.uk. And I can the email address is stephen@simone.co.uk, SUMMONE.
Perfect. I'll tell
Yeah.
you what I'm going to ask you to do. You're going to send me all that, and I'll put it into the podcast description, mate, because it's super. You put your website on there as well,
Uh-huh.
and then we can see if we can get some clicks in there for you, so that people can get in contact. Steve, thank you so much for being on. If it's in the mind, it can be managed. It can. We're managing the fear over AI, and there's always solutions. And if you don't believe us, ask AI; they'll tell you what it is. Is there anything else you want to share before we wrap up and say thank you very much for being on the podcast?
No, thank you for having me on. But yeah, things are moving all the time. Don't get overwhelmed with information. Just try and get it to do what's your pain point right now? Just ask it that little simple question. Start small and build up. Don't um, be too concerned about how someone's building a massive website and managed to do
Yeah,
this. At the end of the day, think about yourself and what can it do for you to help you. And then how can it save you time so you can maybe spend more time with your family? It's about that work-life balance. Think about that stuff. That's where the um, work-life balance and health
I
comes
love it.
into.
It's been a pleasure having you on the Mind Management Mentors podcast. Thank you so much, Stephen. As always, if you're enjoying the content, like and subscribe, share the content, get it out into the world so that we can help people, because the podcast is all about solutions, whether it's with mental health or mindset or coaches running their business or helping people in the wellness space. I think it's super important that we have these conversations. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast, Stephen. I know we're going to stay in contact for a long time. But as always, big love from Cuddy, and we'll see you on the next episode of If It's in the Mind, It Can Be Managed, the Mind Management Mentors podcast.